So it says that we are live. Hello all, this is Virginia from Athens, Greece, and today we're hosting at the Ask Your Mentor Anything live sessions in the Mentoring for Translators group. Patrícia Cardoso Ferreira, is that correct, the name?
It's correct, yeah.
Great.
The pronunciation is perfect, don't
Great.
worry.
But Patrícia is Portuguese. She's based in Portugal right now, so we are connected with Portugal. Please do let us know if you're watching us correct, if you can listen us. And if you have any questions about today's topic and Patrícia and in general, the business side of translation, you can comment below, either on Facebook and on YouTube. We are live. I see a comment here. Hello. So in order to see your name, because we are using a new tool, you'll see above the live a link that you have to click on it in order to give me the permission to see who is commenting. So I'm seeing someone, hey, say, hi, Virginia. So hi, but I cannot see your name if you do not give the permission to this tool. So please, whoever is watching us and would like to comment, please go above the link to give your permission in order to see your name, because I'm seeing your comments, but in order to see your names, because of the Facebook privacy policy, you have to give your permission in order to see your name. So hello all, I see that 3 people are watching us, and today's topic, it was Patricia's idea, and I found it really clever, and also, yeah, very like nowadays current situation, I think it's a must to discuss. Hello, Therese Marie. Thank you. I hope you find it interesting. I think that it's very interesting as a topic in general, rather than translators, as we are. But we're going to concentrate on the topic in general as a freelancer working from home, and of course our situation as translators working of home in this self-isolation era we are living, all of us, all over the world, like coronavirus era. So before we start, Patrícia, you would like to introduce a bit yourself? Because
I will try to be brief because it's a short introduction, as you know.
About the topic, so.
Yeah. Okay, so in short terms, I'm a linguist, and I'm also a psychotherapist, a clinical psychotherapist. So my basic academic background was linguistics, technical translation, and international communication. So Portugal and Germany, and I started as an interpreter in the field in Germany. That was my first job. And then I went to the academic path. So I was a university teacher. So and as the university teachers, we were and are. So we have to do the masters and the PhD and all that stuff. And so I did it. When I founded my company, as you know.
Yeah.
Virginia. So it's a one-woman translation company, a boutique company. And when I was almost 40 years old, I started studying psychology and psychotherapy, just freestyle, just to know myself and get some knowledge in other fields. But because I'm a very curious person, and I get in love very fast with knowledge and information, I quit the freestyle and I started doing it seriously. And I did the psychotherapy graduation, the clinical psychotherapy graduation. And then, just like in every graduation, you have to choose a specialization, and I chose 2. So I went first to the trauma and PTSD specialization. PTSD is post-traumatic stress disorders. And then to psychosomatics and epigenetics, which I'm finishing right now. So that was, in short terms, what I believe that I gave a good overview of my profile, who I am, and I had already some moments where I wanted to quit the linguistic part, because my first graduation was 26 years ago when I finished. So my career has already 26 years. So I thought about quitting and just becoming a psychotherapist. But like everything in life, we have to integrate, everything we are obtaining in our highway of life. So now I'm managing to build a bridge between the two areas.
Yeah, and, but still your main income is from translation, is that correct?
Sorry?
Your main income is from translation, is that correct still?
Yeah, still okay. From the company. Yeah, still from the company. Yeah, still from the company. Yeah.
So, hello, Therese Marie. Hello, Martina Russo. Hello, Julia. Hello, Valentina. A lot of people are watching us in the Mentoring for Translators group. But hello, Joanna. We have people on YouTube who are watching us and commenting. So we are live. I would like, for those who are watching us for the first time, there is Mentoring for Translators group on Facebook where we are going live every week, most of the times, about specific topics about translators. And we are also going live afterwards, the recordings on YouTube, but today we're live on YouTube as well. So you can find all the previous sessions on YouTube and in the Mentoring for Translators group. And this is a supporting group and community about the business side of translation with a lot of mentors and mentees inside the group. And we hope that we are going to help you. It's not an, it's to support and help you translation issues, and today's topic about the coronavirus, self-isolation, stress management. So I'm very curious. I want to learn a lot of things because I think that I've managed to like settle my stress. I don't feel that stressful because I'm a self-isolated person. I like to work alone, most of translators. But still I have a lot of colleagues who are very curious and to learn about this because there are some times that they cannot really feel very, how to say that, comfortable in this situation and you know how to deal with it, and that might be like being stressed about their income, their workflow, or even though they might have workflow and projects coming in, they do not know how to deal with the news that we are listening and hearing every day. So even though one part is the income part that we do not know what the next day is going to be, and if we are have work, and the other part is that even though we might have work, we do not have the eager, we do not feel very well enough in order to work on our projects, and we do not feel productive, etc. So how is our brain prepared to react to this whole situation? That's the topic that you would like to answer us.
Yeah. Well, first, let's do it in parts because you raised a lot of questions and they have to be faced separately. Okay. Well, you talked about the money, the income. Let's put it on the second place because the first one, you mentioned that you are a self-isolated person, so it's easy, more or less easy for you. That's right. I will use another term. It's easier for a person like you or for me, even for me, because probably we have the same character or profile, personality speaking. We are more in our mind, so we are more mental people. We are not so much symbiotic. We don't, it's like we like or we love contacting to the other people, but it's not like an essential part of our character. So it's pretty easy, it's comfortable for us to be at home, and even, wow, now I have time to be at home and manage everything that I didn't have time for in the past. For a more symbiotic person, so people going more to the emotional segments of ours, so it's more complicated because they need to be in contact, physically in contact with other people. That's why I would like to do some parentheses here, that I prefer the term. I was listening to a professor of mine yesterday on a webinar, and I prefer the term physical isolation or physical distancing rather than social distancing, because what's required from us at this point is to be distant, from the other people, but not socially isolated. Yeah, so it's for me it's better to use the term physical distancing. So don't
which is the reality, which is the reality in any terms, that we are physically in distance with other people, whereas we are socially but virtually social with other people. We cannot be physically social.
Yeah, but Virginia, one thing is that people who are already self-isolated can tend to be even more isolated now that they are physically confined in a space, in an apartment, especially for those who are doing the isolation by themselves, alone. I've been doing mixed. So some days I'm alone, some days I'm with my boyfriend. So it's not that complicated at all. But there are people who are definitely alone for 2 weeks.
Of course.
Okay, we have the social contact through the net, but it's not for some people, like as I was saying, it's not enough, because they have to feel the touch, they have to feel the other person, or the other people. Then about your question, if the brain is configured or prepared to face this and to cope with this, of course, the brain is prepared, but we have to do a good management of everything that's going on. The news, as you said. So I would advise people to turn on the TV just once a day, because otherwise it's a flood of information. Especially, well, I'm hypochondriac, so in the first days I was watching the news every.
Just a comment. Don't move your hands, because they make an echo on the sound with your microphone.
Yeah,
so
Virginia, I'm Portuguese.
I'm Greek anyway, but at the same time, you are saying so interesting things. Don't have the sound to interact in between.
Okay.
Okay.
So I was saying
the news. I do the
news.
same about the news. I go like, maybe there are some days I don't go on the news at all. There are some days that I don't open the TV or the radio at all.
Yeah. Okay, don't. I would advise once. Okay, not be in the bunker. Yeah, okay. So not be isolated from the news. Okay, we have to go to the reality. Watch once a day, but not be too obsessed to know about figures and to know about graphics and all that stuff, because otherwise you can be very floated with information. And if you are a more hypochondriac person, you might even start feeling the symptoms or having the symptoms, physically speaking, of course.
Wait, can you
describe of the COVID-19?
Can you describe the symptoms that you say that people might have them and they are not aware that they are in a stressful situation?
Short of breathing, for example. Allergies. I know it's the time, but the symptoms can be confused. Yeah, as you know, and even coughing. And that might be more anxiety than the disease itself. It happened to me, and it's happening to a lot of people.
Okay, so I'm writing down your advice. Until now, it's news.
And I was saying, I was forgetting, you asked me if the brain, and probably this is very useful. And I was saying that, of course, the brain is prepared to cope with this situation, to the confination, to the isolation, and even to this, I would say, to this nightmare that is happening. But we have to do a good management of the information. And I mean here, not information coming from the news, but information coming coming from our brain when we elaborate the worries and the thoughts and the concerns into the body, and from the body to the brain. What do I mean with this? So everything that happens in our brain happens in our body. That's why we talk about psychosomatics. And everything that happens, for example, in our guts, is where we feel that most of our fears also happen in our brain. So we have to take some moments during the day, or some minutes during the day, to do to manage the flow of worries that come from the guts, so from the body into the brain, and from the brain to the guts. The ones doing meditation already, they're doing fine. Probably start doing meditation. The ones who were not so much into that would be a very good thing. And it doesn't have to be a like, say, professional meditation. Even 5 or 10 minutes alone, for those who are not alone are with families, probably negotiate a space or a time where they can be alone in one room of the house, and just be there in silence and feel what your body is saying, know your perceptions, know your thoughts, and above all, don't rationalize everything, because what you rationalize now, you're going to feel afterwards, after this whole thing goes by.
So in short, the second advice was the second advice.
So be careful with the news.
Okay, that was the first one. I've written down.
Do some meditation. Do some meditation, even if it's not professional. Just your meditation, your time to be alone during the day. Okay, for the ones who work good with music, put some music, no lyrics. So just a calm music. So no lyrics, not to interfere with your thoughts. And especially observe and analyze your perceptions and what happens in your body. If something is if you have some pain, if you have some discomfort, but it's the perfect time to know yourself.
Okay, so that's really clever. This is about meditation, because I've heard it a lot about meditation. Something like medicine and the medical field advise us to do, or it's something that the new modern lifestyle has included in the everyday life, for example, in a stress management situation.
No, it's medical. It's medical, so it's something I advise my patients. The thing is that it turned a very fashion thing, right? I believe it's what you mean. Yeah, it's like physical exercise or do jogging. It's like jogging. It's the same thing. So everyone is jogging these times, right? It's very fashion, well, I forgot what I was saying, but be careful with that.
But it's something really helpful, and you've seen the results about it.
It's something helpful. It's medically advised. It's medically recommended. It's a time. It's like I said. It doesn't have to be a professional meditation. You find your way. Okay. When I started professionally. I say almost professionally, because I went to a meditation retreat where I had to do sessions of 45 minutes, and I never had meditated by that time. But now you're not required to do very demanding things, because these are times to be confined and be calm, and don't be too demanding on you to do now a 30-minute meditation from scratch. So this is for people who never meditated, or even found meditation a bit weird.
Okay, maybe later we can share some links on some channels.
I was planning to do.
So if you have something you would like to say now, do you remember my names, any channels you would like to mention about fine meditation or
yes, when this started, when this nightmare, for me it's a nightmare. When this started,
many people.
I started following. Let me check here. It's by Chopra. So you can find it on Chopra Wellness. So the link on YouTube, and then go to the website of Chopra, and there's a link leading you to a meditation. So it's a 1-day meditation. A 21-day meditation. So like a package, and every day have their 1 day, 2 days, 3, and it's very useful. It's what I'm doing daily, on a daily basis. I'm sorry.
So until now, about stress management, there are simple advice, but it's very, for me, essential. Like about the news, to have them one per day, or for me, I don't go, like there are days that I don't go on the news. I don't watch the news. meditation as a second advice, and music without lyrics. And we're going to share some channels later.
Okay, yeah.
But before we continue with the second question, like you would like to mention how your everyday life has changed because of the virus. And I would like to say that because there are some problems on Facebook broadcasting, that you can find us guys live on YouTube as well. So click Virginia Katsimpiri YouTube channel, and we are live there as well. So might be any problem of Facebook. And but in any case, we are going to share the recording. So about your everyday life as a freelance translator, working from home, how your everyday life has changed, and what changes have you made in order to avoid or to manage the stressful situation?
Well, I must say that what it comes to my translating business, it didn't change a lot because I was already used to working at home, and it didn't change much, so to say. But as you know, I am doing private practice, so I have my clinical consultations in Lisbon. That changed because I cannot be physically there.
Events
So I have to do remotely, and what I'm facing now is that there's still a bit of allergy from the patient side to have these remote consultations. So I had 2 or 3, so no more, and that's something that I'm feeling like strange. But in terms of being translating at home, well, it's more of the same, so to say.
Okay, for me, for example, I can say I had an office in the center of Athens, a physical office, which for me it has changed in everyday life, which I had a specific routine, a specific time going to the office, specific time returning from the office, and that has changed, which means I only work from home now, and I have my main work like 70 to 80% going on because I used to work online with the big companies. But in terms, for example, physical private clients coming to the office, I have lost this contact, for example. Or maybe I'm trying to find ways in order to readjust at the situation. And also to go to the gym, which is something that really has changed because I didn't used to go out for jogging. For example, nowadays I cannot go that. So what I did is I hired a private trainer, personal trainer, instructor. And since now the measures are even more strict nowadays, we're doing only online sessions. And I bought a treadmill. So this third change, in order to be able to walk home, because here in Greece the measure are very strict, so we have to issue documents, even though when we want to go, for example, on jogging or going to work outside, we need to have a paper stating the time we go out of home and the reason we are going out of home, and we have to be very close to the address we have stated as our home. So for me, there were changes that had to be made, like, for example, working from home, make everything online for my business, like losing maybe 20 to 30% of my income, and then also my exercise routine, which was going to the gym and having some sessions there. I changed them and have the sessions through home, and also I bought the treadmill in order not to lose the walking part and jogging part. Until now, for me, the stressful situation hasn't like very great impact in my how I feel and how I deal with my everyday life. But I'm not pretty sure if this is going to take place, like, for example, 1 month from now or 2 or 3 months. I'm not pretty sure if I'm going to deal with very well the stressful situation. So we really need your advice.
In fact, we are updating ourselves like every week, right? Or every 2 weeks. Yeah. So let's see what I am feeling now. It's not the same what I'm feeling in 1 month's time. So let's update. Yeah, let's think about it. Yeah, you mentioned the gym. Sorry,
we have to do another session then to re-update the advice and the tips. So
in 1 month's time, everyone is not. So people are not saying they are stressed; they are freaking out. So it's different. Probably it's a good idea to do another session. Yeah, but you mentioned the gym, which is something very important to me. Well, it's important, but I have to say that I'm not having time for it right now because I'm doing so many things at the same time, even confined at home, that I didn't find myself some time for physical exercise, so for jogging or for yoga, which is something that it's very important for me.
And you do alone? You go outside and you do the exercise alone?
Yes.
That's another option. Of course, I'm not that person.
No, I have a balcony. I have a terrace here, so I can do it. So it's a possibility. It's a possibility.
Yeah, you are based next to the sea. I remember. Is that correct? You're very nice.
Yes.
So, okay,
that's probably something that is helping me, because in front of my computer right now I can see the ocean. So it's wide. It's a wide view. It helps. I know it helps.
So lovely, lucky you. But for those like might be in an apartment in a city, for example, with family members there, I think you would like to talk about that as well. What is your advice for those that they have a family and they are at home, all of them? How do they manage the frustration of having to go to the restaurants, for example?
Yeah, that's very complicated, and I would say that those people who have to share and divide the space with family, so wife or husband and kids, it's good that you negotiate the space. Negotiation here is very important.
Yeah.
Negotiate with yourself. Yeah, for me, so I didn't have the time yet to do my yoga. So I'm negotiating. I'm also negotiating with myself that it's okay. I didn't have time, but I will have it. So not be too demanding. And these families have to find some space, let's say symbolic space, to negotiate among themselves, because
for that. It was about the technical part here. We were hearing our echo from Facebook, so I'm trying to see if people can watch us there. But really, so we have to negotiate, yes?
Yeah, negotiate. For example, imagine if it's possible, husband and wife, to one be in the living room working, and the other one be in the office or another room, so that they find some let's say isolation or separate times, because they are 24/7 below the same ceiling. And so there will. It's important that the couple finds, or the family finds, this negotiation space to be alone working, or to be even 10 minutes alone listening to that music I've told you about, or do that meditation.
Meditation, which means, like, for some people they're scared about it. We're going to share some links how to do it, but in any case, in simple words, would be like some time alone.
Yeah, just observing ourselves, observing our perceptions, observing our fears. It's very important to feel the fear. The fear is the emotion which is being felt by everyone at the same time right now, and this is very this brings peace to ourselves, thinking that everyone is having the same feeling right now. This is a unique and exclusive moment in the world and on the planet, because everyone is feeling the same. And if you realize or rationalize this, it becomes lighter. It's not so heavy. You have your fears, I have my fears, and everyone is observing this and experiencing this with this basic emotion underlying. But fear is an important emotion. It's one of the 6 basic emotions, and it's useful. So do not skip it. I know what I mean. So don't rationalize everything, just saying, okay, this is a normal time. This is not normal. Everyone is confined in their houses. Shops are closed. So this is weird for everyone. Yeah. Families are separated.
So one advice was about the husband and wife to have a spare time, like alone in different rooms, for example. And
if it's possible, work in different rooms. if it's not possible. Yeah, sometimes it's not possible.
Mm-hmm.
Find themselves a negotiation space where, for example, at the end of the day, I stay in the living room alone for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, or half an hour if possible. Just do my things, reading, listening, meditating, do the yoga, just stretching, or but be alone, not being with the same people, even if it's family, the whole time.
Yeah, I think that this will make worse the situation, even though it's stressful itself, like being confined in a home. Imagine like having to spend the whole day, even though you love some people, you might find some time alone. It would be a great advice. And what about when you have kids in the house?
Yeah.
But I know that there are colleagues that they have
Yeah.
kids.
Yes, I know too. It's
Yeah.
difficult. First, it's difficult to manage their emotions. But one thing is for sure is that for kids is, even though they may be more active, yeah, with all that turbulence, it's easier for them to handle all these situations because they don't elaborate so much as we do. So
Yeah,
cognition.
of course, of course,
Yeah.
of course. Yes, makes sense.
So the fear is our fear, is the adult fear, not the child's fear, which is in question. Okay.
Okay.
And then for the children, what I've been noticing, I don't have children myself, but I was attending a webinar yesterday, and my teacher was saying that because there were questions like this one from mothers, and the mothers are freaking out with, I don't know how it's in Greece, but in Portugal, especially the private schools, they're sending homework and homework and more homework. So I mean every teacher is requiring a lot from these students, from these children, and I know mothers who are freaking out with this, and just be tolerant.
Homework, you mentioned that about homework, that they send them a lot of homework, for
They
example.
send they send homework, they send exercises, they send PowerPoints and all that stuff, so they have to study, so to cope with the curriculum. And even, for example, I can speak about my family. As I told you, I don't have children, but I have two nieces, and they go to the British Council too. And next week they will start having virtual classes too. So it's the school, the curriculum, the official curriculum. It's the British Council. Then it's the teacher of Taekwondo too. So they have a full agenda.
Okay.
And my sister, she's not a techie herself, so
Yeah.
she's getting crazy with all this technology that also is demanded to the parents.
So, what's your advice for this situation?
I would advise, because it's emotional.
Yeah.
What may come is emotional.
Yeah.
Be tolerant to yourself. So don't try to be perfect. It's not time to have this fantasy that we are going to be perfect, or our children are going to be perfect. And don't, as I was saying, I was listening to my teacher, and she was saying that, so don't try to impose. I don't know if it's the right word, but don't try to implement a lot of rules, strict rules, to the children, because they are also facing probably the most or the happiest moments in their lives, because all the children want is the time from their parents, right? And it's now happening. If
Yeah,
you if
true. But yeah, please go complete, and I'm going to ask you a question.
if you are going to demand a lot from the children, because they are also facing this situation in their own way, probably there will be a conflict, and those conflicts are probably from this thing I said, right? So you want, or you have this fantasy of being the same person with the same with the same results, or having the same results as you had in the past normal. This is a new normal. So try to be tolerant with yourself and to the children.
Okay, so tolerant and don't overwhelm them
With rules, with or even
rules.
with behaviors. Yeah.
Yeah. I have the other situation though, where the kids, okay, they're in the house, but they do not have many things to do because they're not like in Portugal that they have a lot of exercise, for example, or homework.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, they're doing some creative things in home, like puzzles or reading or watching specific shows, for example, spending time with family, but still they're missing going out because here in
Mm-hmm.
Greece, the measures are pretty strict, so kids are
Mm-hmm.
not allowed to go out. And
Mm-hmm.
people are allowed, as I told you, with a specific paper stating where they are going for only pharmacy, supermarket, doctors, and
Mm-hmm.
exercise, and only two people. Like we are not allowed to go out. Like if I had two children, I wouldn't be allowed to go.
Mm-hmm.
What do you suggest in such situation? What to tell them?
Well, and this goes for children and it goes for adults, which is when you don't have the reality, when you cannot experience or live the reality just like you used to it, you have to resort to visualization and to imagination. For example, for children and for adults, if you
Yeah,
like it, you can resort to some pictures from magazines if you have at home, or if you don't have paper magazines, you can resort to images on the computer and do some collages, do some let's say pictures,
yeah,
images
hmm,
that come to your mind of things you used to do and were giving you some pleasure to do, or things that you might imagine for your future. So when this is all over, okay,
yeah,
what's the first thing that you would like to do? Go to the beach. Okay, you have some beautiful pictures at home on the magazines. Just do some cuts and copy paste, or cut and paste sorry, cut and paste
yeah,
on papers, on put them on the fridge, and allow your children to be to work, let's say, to work with images, imagination, visualization, especially for the creativity part.
And what I say to them, like I always tell them to go out, find some time for the kids, even though to go like around the house or just a walk, or
Mhm,
make take them out of the balcony or the terrace, something to do with them in order
mhm,
to distract them from having this feeling being alone at home. And
mhm,
another situation we're dealing here with kids is that they want to see their grandparents, which is forbidden also because they might bring the virus to
mhm,
the older
mhm.
we are.
Yeah, yeah. Well, just like here.
What I suggest them to do virtual things, like the
Mhm,
grandmother can
mhm.
do virtually, like through Viber or WhatsApp or whatever, a book
Yeah.
to the child, and make patient, like make plans after 2 weeks or 1 month or
Yeah.
whenever this ends, to make plans of the things that they're going to do together, for example.
Mhm,
But there
mhm,
are always ideas that we come up, like virtual reading, for example, of a book to the
mhm,
children. I don't know if you have any other advice to share.
mhm. No, it's perfect, Virginia. It's
Yeah.
perfect. It's perfect. Especially the part,
Yeah.
I love the part. I had some notes here. Especially the part where you make plans,
Yeah.
where you make plans for the future, because the present, you cannot change it. It's
Well,
this way. Okay, you cannot go out, and you have to explain that with simple
yeah.
words to the children. But
Mhm.
for example, you can ask your children, okay, we know, or you can say, you know that we cannot go out of the house because this and that.
Mhm.
Simple words. Don't be too dramatic. But
Mhm.
but we have good things here at home. What are the good things? Let's find out. Yeah, let's
Mhm.
debate that. Let's discuss that. Um, when this is all over, what do you want to do in the first
Yeah,
place? Do you
exactly.
want
Yeah.
to go to your parents? Do you want to go to the beach? Do you want to
Mhm.
be with your friends? Yeah, but it's planning. Yeah, planning, because that stays in the body and in the mind, that okay, this is going to be over. Gives them this thing of okay, it has started, but it's going to finish one day. It's not going to stay forever. Yeah, because the children don't have the same concept of time. Yeah.
And what other, I don't know if it's correct or if I should do it or not. What I do is I order things and games online for them. So I have my niece and my nephew. And in order to distract them, I have set 1 day per 2 weeks or 1 day per week in order to order online a puzzle or a game that will bring us delivered at home. So it's a game going online on a bookshop or an online shop, and we buy things for the kids. So in order to distract them and have something to wait for. I don't know if it's good advice or not, but something I do with my nephew, my niece.
Yeah.
So another idea. But then there is the other side of life, which there are people who are alone, totally alone. And that's another case, and we have to deal with different ways. So what do you suggest in such cases where people are totally alone, either they're older or younger or our age? What do you suggest?
Okay. Just like I said, it's easy for a person who is already very ectodermic, so very mind oriented. But those people who need a lot of contact, who are more symbiotic to the others, it's great not to lose this social contact. So virtual meetings, let's say virtual contact with the friends. I believe there's an app. I don't know if you heard, Virginia. It's a house party, or
No, that's nice. This is house party. Okay, I'm writing down.
Okay. You can do it through WhatsApp too, or FaceTime, and it's very important not to be a lot in the mind, but to resort to this technology, which is very helpful nowadays, to be with your friends. Or, for example, I can give you yesterday I received a text message from a friend of mine. It's going to be her birthday tomorrow. Tomorrow is Saturday. Well, I'm losing track of time. And she said, so at 6, everyone is going to be online. I'm having a cake at my place, and let's sing together. So go online, please, you and other friends. Let's have a virtual party together. Yeah.
I've heard about virtual lunch or virtual dinner, like we are cooking all of us at home, and then we are with a camera and we're drinking a beer or a glass of wine
Great.
at the same time. It's very clever. I haven't done that. What I have done is with friends, I have set up a meeting for coffee, like instead of going outside for a coffee and saying my news, virtual coffee like WhatsApp or Viber or FaceTime, having a coffee like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, depending, saying our news. So that's another suggestion. But this requires things that you can do when you are sociable. What about when you are not sociable? What do you suggest to people who are honestly alone? And might, like this time of the year, feel it even worse to them?
Okay. One of the things that's very useful to change this flow of information, like I said, coming from the guts to the brain, is moving the body. Because if you are a very isolated person, a very introvert person, and if you don't have that eager, just like you said, to move or to do your project or to go to life, even if it's a virtual life, these people tend to be more on the sofa and watching series and watching movies, which is very, very dangerous, in the sense that we are working in front of our computers, or doing stuff like searching for information or just gaming. And if you go then from the computer to the couch to watch another, or to be facing another screen, you are compromising the high segments, which is now a very useful segment, because I believe that this virus context, this virus thing is giving us the opportunity to face the world and our past lives in a different way. So I would suggest that try to move, try to stretch a bit, so that the information coming from the body also changes and does this neuroplasticity to your mind, so that you change some circuits here. Because if you're tending to be on the couch every day and do nothing, you will turn out to go into a depression.
Okay,
That's
so
the most dangerous thing.
Stretching and moving is one advice.
Moving with simple movements. It doesn't have to be a very demanding thing. It's not jogging or do some CrossFit. It's not that, but moving a bit. Just do some short movements in the first place and see what happens. But don't resort a lot to screens, because that kind of people, just the example you brought, might tend to depression, and that's very dangerous. And you know that after this, we are going to watch a lot of psychopathologies.
And this is the depression thing that we would like to discuss about, that there's a high possibility of a lot of people going into depression. And how do you see the things here? Number people can call for free in order to get like help, psychological help online or via telephone if they like having depression or issues with stress.
I believe that every country is doing that. With help, with helplines, so to say, in what comes to mental health, because no one is naive to think that after this thing, there's not going to be a lot of psychopathologies happening.
Of course.
One of the most, so I mentioned depression to those those kind of people, just like you said, more passive. And the more passive, and this is for everyone, in fact, if you tend to be more passive in this era, in these times, this is going to compromise your creativity, because the cognition, it's going to create brain or cognition dysfunctions. Your body doesn't move. You are only receiving inputs from the screens, so information which is not filtered, and your cognition is your memory and cognition will be compromised in 2 months' time, because we don't know if it's going to be 2 months or 3 months or whatever.
I had this for 2 or 3 days. Like, I didn't want to do anything. I was stuck on the couch. Like, even though I had a lot of work, like translation project, invoicing, administration things, or housekeeping works, I didn't have the energy, or I felt that I didn't have the energy, and I didn't feel productive enough, and I didn't feel like doing nothing at all. And I think that this is the first step from depression. I passed it.
You were so active. I don't understand.
But I felt it, and I was 2 days or 3 days, even though I had a lot of work to do and a lot of projects, I didn't have the mood to do it.
You don't have to answer, because but what it seems to me, it was like you were in a shock. You were in a shock.
Most probably, yeah.
Most probably, yeah, because that happened to me too. It's like, okay, I have lots of things to do, but I don't want.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, this is, I see it now as a transition moment. Probably I was in this transition where, okay, now what's going to happen? How's going to be my life? But then you get in the trail, and things become a bit more normal. But I was saying that, I wanted to say too, that for people who are doing this isolation and quarantine alone, one of the most dangerous thing is the paranoia, because psychologically speaking, paranoia is a good company, you know. Is like a partner of ours. So I believe there's going to be a lot of paranoia disturbances in the future, because people are going to get used to speaking alone, or to receiving information and not making comments the usual way, and it's going to be tough in that sense.
Okay. So before we close, I have another question, but is there something else you would like to advise those people, except from moving around and exercise a bit and filter the news and try to do things that, like reading a book, watching a movie, but something creative to spend their time? Is there something else you would like to advise them?
Yeah, I have a 4-step exercise that would be very good, because
Great.
you have to distinguish between what's fear and what's anxiety. So fear, like I said, it's an healthy emotion, but the thing is, we want to create here a limit between fear and anxiety. So ask yourself this question: is this fear my fear already? Probably it's already my fears coming from the past, or is fear from the situation itself. Imagine that one of my concerns is money, yeah. The income. Probably this fear of the topic money already comes from the past, and it
Okay.
tends to be reinforced right now. Just do yourself this question, yeah. And this is also a perfect time to deal with 2 variables, which is time and space. And if you notice, analyzing our conversation, we have been talking about time and space a lot. So negotiating space if you are with your family, but also if you are alone. So don't be too much time on the couch. Don't be too much time sitting. Try to find moments, so times for you if you are in the family, but even if you are alone, times for yourself, but not just be sitting in front of a computer or a screen. No, times where you don't listen to anything, just silence, and think, for example, in this old nightmare, what am I grateful for today? How has been my relationship to time until now? So what time am I have I been dedicating to my work? What time have I been dedicating to my family and to myself? Yeah, because there are people who don't do this time management so well. I don't know if I'm a good time manager. I try, um, but I'm very much concerned about my body. Do some meditation, because what we do now is going to be our future, and this is not in general terms. It's now, right now. What are our decisions right now? They're going to define our future when this is all over. And what are my expectations after this? It's also important. But the 4-step exercise that I wanted to share with you is to find, for example, 20 minutes every day and do this. First, grab a chair,
Yeah.
sit on the chair in front of a wall,
Okay.
and with your feet grounded, so on the floor.
I'm keeping notes. Okay. I'm keeping notes.
Yes, good.
Okay.
And your hands on the legs, so you really ground it. Okay. Then fix a point on the opposite wall, and count until 20. And this will allow, and you're going to start feeling that your eyes want to close. If they don't close, it's because you are in with a lot of thoughts. So you are very mind oriented. So you have a lot of your energy here in on your mind. If they don't close organically, you close them slowly until you count until 20.
Okay.
Okay. Second part of the exercise, it's related to the breathing.
Okay.
Okay. With your eyes shut too, you inhalate until 6 through the nose. Sorry, inhalate, counting until 6, and through the nose. And then pause of 2, so 1, 2, you count 1, 2, and then you exhalate until 4.
Mm-hmm.
And when you are doing this inhalation, so this exercise will be 3 times. When you're doing the inhalation, you're thinking again, go to your imagination, go to your creative visualization, and think about good things. What are you going to do when this is all over? Okay, I'm going to the beach. You know that beach where I have the house, where I love to go? Think about good things for you. Yeah.
Okay.
When you're doing the exhalation, you think about the tension that's coming out through the mouth again, going out of your body. Yeah, that's a good exercise, and it really changes. Just like I said, this highway of information of fear coming from the guts to the brain.
Yeah.
Then, when you finish this inhalation and exhalation exercise, you go to the third part where you relax your body. You start with the eyelids here, the eyelids, and you close these eyelids very strongly, very strongly.
Like this?
Yeah, like that, exactly. I have my glasses, so probably it's not very clear. So you close the eyelids very strongly, and then when they are strongly closed, so all the tension goes there, you start imagining that you are, so then you open and you start imagining that you're relaxing. All this relaxation is going through the neck, to the shoulders, to the chest, because as you know, the fear happens in the body. Yeah, the tension of the muscles, the tension of the stomach, but then you start from the eyelids and you go down to the rest of the body. Okay, the last part of the exercise will be going up and going down. Okay, and which is okay again sitting, so don't stand, and you are going to imagine that you are facing an escalator, you know, automatic stairs in a mall. Yeah. And you are just, you have to count, sorry, because I have to wait. Okay, you have to count until, so from 10, starting with 10 and go backwards, and you are counting from 10 backwards.
From 10 to 0.
From 10 to 0, yeah. And just like I said, you are probably I was mistaken or confused. You have to imagine that you are on top of the escalator and go down and go backwards with the counting from 10 to 0. Okay. When you reach the bottom, imagination again. When you reach the bottom, you're going to do the opposite way.
From one.
Imagination.
From 1 to 10.
Pardon?
From 1 to 10.
Exactly, from 1 to 10, and in this case, you are imagining that you're going up. Okay. And I'm pretty sure that it's going to be you're going to be much better. But you have to do this like practice every day, 20 minutes.
Every day, 20 minutes, and this is a stress relief exercise.
This is neuroplasticity. So it has long-term, so medium and long-term results, but it's also like a one-spot, can be also a one-spot exercise if you are feeling that you're going into anxiety or a panic attack, because that's one of the dangers.
Anxiety, or you are before a panic attack, and you do this. But I would suggest you don't have to be at that part before a panic attack. You can do it to avoid.
Exactly.
So it's very interesting.
In preference that you don't get to anxiety, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let alone panic attack.
Yeah, I'm generally say pretty stressful person, but I try to manage it and don't show it. But I'm stressful in my everyday routine and meeting the deadline as a freelancer, a translator. So Before I ask you some tips about freelance translators and how to deal with stress and everyday routine nowadays, I would like to ask you, what about positive thinking? In general, I'm a positive thinker. I haven't read any book about it, for example, or I'm not going to any course. I'm just like that. I'm a person. I'm just like that when I was born, for example. That's me. I'm a very positive person. I try to see the positive side. I'm not like a person I don't see the reality. I see the reality. I try to deal with the problems, but in most of the cases, that's me. I don't do any much effort to do that. I see the positive side of things.
You are optimistic, I would say.
Sorry?
You are optimistic, not don't get me wrong. You are more optimistic than positive. Yeah, optimistic person. That helps a lot.
Yes, I am optimistic as a person. I really like to do that, even though if I wasn't, I would push myself to become one, because I really see the results of positive thinking, and I really see when you think something that you attract it. So I've seen these results in my everyday life, and this is why I studied coaching. This is why I help people, because that is something I've seen the results, and I really try to make people believe in positive thinking and making things happen, because when you think about something, you create it. So I really believe. But what is your opinion on positive thinking, and what about positive thinking in such a situation like nowadays?
Okay. Well, positive thinking in the sense that I was describing some minutes ago. Okay, because you visualize what comes from your inner world. Okay, from your inside. It's not something that's okay. Virginia or Patricia are telling you to think about. Yeah, sorry. Don't think about the beach just because I'm telling you. Okay, think about the beach because you want to think about the beach. So more important than positive thinking or positive mind is having a quiet mind, because a positive mind might mean that you are being positive just because you've heard something about positives, comes from something that comes from the positive psychology, but it's not in contact, for example, with your pessimistic character. Yeah, it's like saying, I normally use this image. It's like saying, imagine someone is drowning in the ocean. Yeah, and you're saying to that person, so just do something. That person is not going to do anything, because it doesn't, it's not in his or her genes to do something. Yeah, but what I can say is that we have to be conscious that this is going to be over. It's not going to stay like this forever. Probably this is helpful for some of us to look at things in other with different eyes. Yeah, and probably that those people who are not so positive at all, it's because probably their fear is losing the control of things right now. No one is in control of anything. I'm not in control of my life. You're not in control of yours. The leaders are not in the control of their countries, or even of the world. So just think that probably it's in that space, again the word space, in that space of non-control, that we can find hope. Because this is my perspective. Probably the normal, it's like the other day I was listening, so I just want to go back to the past normal. I don't think it's a good idea to go back to the past normal, because the past normal was not working good. Yeah. So let's go to that space of non-control and see a possibility to make things different, and to find the best version of ourselves, and to be in contact with our resources. It doesn't have to be like perfect resources, but find the best things we have inside of us.
Can you give us an example of that?
Give an example.
Of the resources.
Yeah, of the resources. Yeah. For example, be tolerant. Being tolerant. And think that we cannot control everything. Yeah, and probably if we are being desperate nowadays, now in this I don't know, this Friday, if we are facing the negatively the lack of control we have, it's because really it's because I lose myself in that non-control space. I don't know if I'm making myself clear, but just see this non-control time and space as a positive thing, in the sense that it's here that I can be something different. It's here that I can do something different from my life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in any case,
I know, Virginia, that it might sound a bit philosophical or abstract conversation, but it's probably this virus is making us looking at things differently, not so materialistic and not so physically, the way we were doing.
yeah, that's true. But I always try to give examples and practical advice, because it's very interesting what we've been saying, and we are like about 1 hour, and you are very professional. You show the background of your studies here. And if someone wants, can also contact you in person, if they have any personal issue that they wouldn't like to comment below or ask in the questions form, you can also contact Patrícia in person if you would like a session with her or some personal advice or professional advice about how to handle this situation. Patrícia is a member of our group in any case, and we'll share Patrícia's contact details. And if you have any questions later, you can always comment below this live, and Patrícia is a member in our group. She's going to answer all of the comments and questions. But in any case, you can contact her in person, because I really realize that this is a very sensitive issue that we are discussing today, and it's very personal, because stress is very different, how it comes out to any of us, and the situation is very different. We can be alone, we can be with a boyfriend, we can be with a family. So it's of this situation, even though we try to give advice in this 1 hour, for example, live, it's very difficult like to deal with all of these situations individually, because all of the situations are different. And this is something that I realize. But we are here,
and it's Virginia, sorry to interrupt, and it's a bit like the saying, you know, the grass is always greener on the other side. You know what I mean? The ones who are with the families just want to be alone. The ones who are alone just want to be with a family, no matter whose family is it. But it's really, it's what I've been listening to a lot of these things, that, oh my God, this is horrible, I'm with my family, and people who are alone just want, oh, this is so difficult to be alone, and I just wish I had a wife or a husband. So, and it's just like you said, I was listening to a colleague the other day of mine, he's a psychologist, and he said, okay, there are practices and there are exercises, but this works differently according to our character and according to the relationship I have with fear and with anxiety and with stress. If I am already a stressed person, or if I was already a stressed person in the past, this is going to be more complicated. But if I have a good relationship with faith and hope, because this is going to be over, nothing stays forever, not the good, not the bad. Okay, this is an experience, like everything in life.
Yeah, it's going to
go over.
Yeah, Greek people, whenever we contact them, even if they are at the call center that we call for advice, or even the delivery boys that they brought me the supermarket, for example, the other days, without even asking them anything, we didn't open any discussion, they started telling me, this is okay, lady, it's going to pass, it's not going to stay forever. Our country has even confronted even more worse situations here. We already had the World War II, so this is something that we can deal with. So they're very compassionate. How to say that? So it's something that we have. I don't know about Portugal, but here in Greece, something very common that we try to say these things, that these things will pass, and everyday life will become like it was regular before. So we have this in mind in any case. And what I've been listening lately very common is that if nowadays it's going to be a crash test about ourselves, spending time with ourselves. So if ourselves is not a very good company to ours, something wrong is going on with us and not the situation.
Yeah. So, if you cannot handle your family, it's because something is wrong with your family.
But also ourselves alone, as me, as a person, spending time alone in a home, being alone and doing everything alone. Okay. It has to do with the relationships that I have developed with myself. If I am a good company to me,
exactly.
the time spending with me, even if these are the thoughts that I have, the way that I think, the way that I deal with situations, I reflect to situations, the books that I choose to do, the time that I spend it, how to spend the time. So everything has to do with the connection and the relationship we have created with ourselves. So I know that this takes a lot of time to discuss, and it's a very sensitive issue, as I said. We just wanted to give you some support and some practical tips. And since we're already 1 hour and 10 minutes live, Patrícia, would you like to give us 10 tips? I would like to count 10 tips for a translator or a freelancer working from home. How to deal with this situation, the emotion management, as you said, the stress management, practical tips, like 1, 2, 3, and I can help you with that because I have many tips already. So we can make this amount if you don't have 10.
Some are going to be repeated. It's going to be a repetition. Okay.
I want to be 1, 2, 3 for someone who is listening to us now to find 2 or 3 out of them that they fit their situation, they can make the most out of it, so they can use it in their everyday life and they can change it or somehow manage it.
Okay. So if you do not do physical exercise every day, start doing it. But start with light things, soft things. Okay, let's say 15 minutes, some stretching. Okay? If you don't know, okay, how do I stretch? I have no idea. There are things on YouTube. Yeah, I can sorry, I can write some links on the group. Okay?
Yeah, we'll share links, apps, tools, everything later in the group and on the YouTube channel. The description.
Okay, so we have one, the body. Okay. Inhalation and exhalation exercise every day. It takes
exercises. Are these breathing
exercises? Exactly.
Okay.
Negotiate, even if it's with yourself because you are alone. But even if, you have to negotiate with yourself. I'm alone right now, and what do I tend to work? Yeah, so I have to negotiate with myself. So go 10 minutes to the balcony or to the window and appreciate the view. Okay. Another, so we have 3 already. 4. Okay. 4. Negotiate a space and time for you to think about the relationship you have with time so far. So just like I said, how much time was I dedicating to myself? How much time was I dedicating to my work? How much time was I dedicating to my family, to my spouse, so to my wife or husband, to my boyfriend or my girlfriend? How much time was I dedicating to my hobbies, to my free time? If I like reading, how many books have I been reading in the past days?
And Patrícia, this is going to help us for the future in order to
This is going to help us for the future, because by the time you are asking yourself these questions, okay, and you can do the same exercise. If you do not want to go to the mind, so not be just thinking and thinking, you can write the questions and answer them in writing. Yeah, just do graphics, do percentages. Yeah, do you know that pie exercise from coaching, the wheel?
Yeah, of course. Yes, the wheel.
You can draw the
Yeah,
wheel
I was referring to the time and space. You said relationship with time, so it will help us in the future to take the most out of our time and to become more productive and use better the time we have.
Yeah, yeah.
Correct?
Especially have a different looks. Have a different looking at the what's essential.
Okay.
What's essential? What's essential with our time? Probably
Yeah.
we are dedicating a lot of time, not only unbalanced, but time to things that really don't matter so
Yeah.
much. Okay, like
Okay.
shopping, for example.
We appreciate the things that they really matter. This is a good time to really reflect on things that really matter and appreciate and on things that really matter in order to make the most out of the reality and our everyday life after this ends, the whole situation of isolation. The fifth would be your 4 steps exercise.
Yes, for
That's
example. Yeah, so we have
okay.
5. Okay, 5 to go. The fifth would be, for example, the same exercise you did with time, do it with space. Why am I not feeling good in my space? What's wrong with my house? Yeah, probably I was not paying attention when by the time I chose my house. Well, I was not thinking that it should have a balcony. This is me just brainstorming with myself. Yeah, the view, the location. Yeah, why am I not feeling good here? Is it the furniture? Yeah, is it the space itself? It's very narrow. It's very tiny for me, or is it too big for me?
And you can change it. You can change. You can
Change it, or do some decoration.
Yeah, you can tidy. You can get rid of things that you do not want in your house. I'm doing this. Tidy, change the furniture. Yeah. And also listen to the music. You said without lyrics. Meditation would be the 8th. So we need 2 more advice.
Yeah. The other one is if it's possible, because the first I said stretching, physical exercise. It sounds to me that it's do some structured class, let's say class, but do some movements like dancing movements. I know this doesn't make sense for a lot of people, but this like I said, it doesn't have to be a very professional thing, but do some. I did this in my training, stress management training at Aptrad in end of February. And I tried to do some tribal dance. It was not possible. There was not much support on that. Support, I mean, so not everyone likes it, but it's very good because it gives you grounding and centering. Just take off your shoes with bare feet on your floor and do some movements. Okay, so just to feel your body. Yeah. And if you are alone at home, you can do with a partner or with a friend, just virtually. Okay, Virginia, let's do together. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's play the same music and do it together.
In very short, because we are already 1 and 20 minutes, I would like to add some things that people can do. I've heard about Luna, for example, is a member of our Mentoring for Translators group. They are organizing online yoga sessions unofficially with their friends. I know that there are a lot of people who are officially watching channels for free, doing meditation and yoga every day. So you can go online, search for those channels, And we are going to share also some links. There is I have created also in the Mentoring for Translators group a document with activities online that you can do, things to do in self-isolation era. This could be CPD sessions, online courses for free, things that you can do for free, books to read, virtual meetings, as I said, like could be virtual lunch, virtual meeting. You said an application about the house party application. To organize online meetings. And also what I do, if I would be able to give my 5 cents, like we say, my advice, piece of advice on such things, I have so many things to do that I have left aside because of my everyday routine, that I really appreciate the time that I've been given in this self-isolation era, and not because I'm a positive thinker, but because it's the reality. I have my new website, side hustle projects that I didn't find the time to implement and complete. I created 2 web pages because of this time. I've been doing coaching online with my coach. I've been giving coaching and presenting online courses to my mentees. I'm running challenges to the groups. I find the time to organize these online sessions in order to be more social and also to meet with my friends as you. And there is also time for me to read all the books that I have, and I didn't have the time to read the books. And I'm taking online CPD courses on online tools, because that's the future. We have to adapt in the reality. I'm trying to, for example, enhance my social media in order to be more sociable online, but also to attract clients that way. So there are so many things that we can do in our everyday life that we do not even imagine that. So after the first shock, what am I going to do? And I will lose productivity. I think we have to switch the mind and the way we think and find the things that we didn't have the time to do because of our everyday routine, and to do them now. The last thing I would like to add is for those that they're very stressful about finding jobs and their income. If there's something you would like to add to them, how to deal with the stress, or maybe practical advice.
Well, I was thinking about that today in the morning, and I believe it was also because there was a question on our Aptrad group about that. And I don't think this is the time. I agree with you. This is the time to do things that we were not having time for. Just like you said, update the website. I have some drafts to accomplish.
Social media or SEO of our website. There are so many things that we didn't have the time to actually do.
It's like management. It's like another keyword now, and I was listening to that to a colleague of mine was saying that yesterday, and it's really this. It's a moment to do some management. Yeah. Be it stress management, be emotions management, be self-regulation or co-regulation management. We have to take advantage of this time to do some management. I'm not a manager myself. I'm very disorganized, so to say, I admit. And this gives me the possibility to manage. To manage things, a lot of things: time, money, stress, emotions, regulation, and so on. And but going back to your question to the freelancers and to the linguists, I didn't forget. I don't. You tell me your opinion. I don't think it's a good time to do some prospects. You know what I mean? Client research, or client. Go after new clients. I agree. It's time to do that lifting, that uplifting you were mentioning. So updating your website. But I believe that the companies are also in this, this inner movement, going to their inner world, and they're not so much open to spend money in things that probably they consider they're not essential. I don't know. So I believe this is a perfect moment to do what you did. I said uplifting, but I was meaning facelifting of your website, or to be uplifting. So improving your image towards the others, towards the clients, and towards the customers. but especially take advantage of that time to do that.
Yeah, that's a very wise advice, and I think it's going to make the most out of it if you spend the time for you, your body exercise, your mind exercise, and also to renew all your website, SEO, marketing strategies in order to implement after the crisis. But for me, the workflow,
but not now.
I have a different opinion, and I want to share because my workflow hasn't stopped. I'm still taking quotes, and I have to quote 3 projects per day. My bigger clients are still want my services, and there is a great opportunity because in every crisis there is an opportunity, and in Chinese the word crisis has the same meaning with opportunity, and I see it myself, not because only I'm a positive thinker, but because that's my reality. My workflow hasn't stopped, and I'm getting a lot of new projects for coronavirus, for example, or agencies abroad. So what to do instead of the classic way of getting prospects is to find the opportunity in the crisis, which means could be for you to gain, if you are starting out translators, to get voluntary work in organizations and non-profit organizations nowadays, because there's a lot of workflow and projects, translation projects for coronavirus especially. So you can gain a lot of experience if you are starting out translator, and maybe find some paying clients there, not only voluntary work. I get a lot of
translators without borders. You have the translators without borders?
Especially for this situation, non-profit organizations, they're looking for translators. And also because of this situation, a lot of companies becoming from real, like having an office becoming online, they're switching their strategies. A lot of companies, this is an opportunity. If they're going to attract clients from all over the world, they probably need your services. And I've seen that the need of translation services is rising every day because of that, because companies are trying to adapt in this online new reality. And I do that for my business as well. And I've switched all the typical and classical advertising methods I've been using into internet and online advertising. That would be Facebook, Instagram ads, that would be Google search results. So anything that has to do with online in order to advertise my services. So what I suggest is just to change your methods, to adapt in the situation, to find the opportunity when the crisis comes, which means that there is a lot of translation needs nowadays because exactly of this situation. So if you need more advice, reach us out. We are in the Mentoring for Translators group. We are here to answer any of your questions. Patrícia, thank you so much. Would you be able to have another session? I really enjoyed this topic. You are an expert, so I really enjoyed your side of a professional, like a psychologist. And guys, if you have any questions that we didn't answer, please comment below the live on YouTube, Mentoring for Translators group, or contact directly me, Virginia Katsimpiri, or Patrícia Cardoso Ferreira through our group or online, and we're going to share all the links. And of course, you will find the tips. You will find the tips in this video. I hope you really enjoyed it. I
enjoyed it a lot, you know, I always love to talk to you.
Me too. I can't forget that night in Lisbon.
Exactly.
And I always like to share with people how we met, but we do not have the time.
Exactly.
So we met in Lisbon. Is that correct? The first time was there, but we were online.
No, the first time was in Warsaw when we had dinner.
That was at the TLC
TLC, yeah, TLC.
That's a great opportunity for people to meet. These are the conferences. This is the Translation Localization Conference in Warsaw. We met there. And then I went to Lisbon for another conference. And Patrícia was so kind to take me out and show me around things. And since then, we've been friends online. So I really suggest you please be friends online. Why not in such situation? Yeah. So thank you all for watching us. The recording is going to be available in the group and online on YouTube, and we're going to share it with Patrícia. Patrícia, thank you once again. Thank you all of you watching us, and see you in the Mentoring for Translators group later. So bye-bye for now.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.